Today on the LA Food Podcast, food media is dead, long live food media. It's been a little over a week since Eater announced it was laying off 15 additional writers less than a year after a similar purge left the food world asking, say what now? Aspiring media guru Father Saul is with us today to break down what the latest cuts mean not just for Eater, but for the future of food media as a whole. We attempt to dissect what's fundamentally broken about the current landscape and if there's any realistic way of fixing it. On Chef's Kiss Big Miss, are ugly people ruining restaurants? Are Italian mortadella sandwiches the new smash burgers? What kind of relics is Chef Justin Pietrunzi discovering as he renovates Anajac Thai? And is Netflix coming for Top Chef's lunch? All that, plus an exciting gelato festival coming to Ovation Hollywood this Labor Day. A reminder that the LA Food Podcast is part of the Acquired Taste Media Network. Be sure to listen to our sister podcast, Takeando with Bill Esparza, and please consider leaving us a rating or review wherever podcasts are found. As always, I'm your host Lucas Servodio, and without further ado, it's time to chow down. The LA Food Podcast is presented by The Lonely Oyster. Unwind at The Lonely Oyster's Echo Park Night Watch. Did you know that every night is industry night at The Lonely Oyster, dear listener? Stroll in after 10 p.m. nightly for a one-of-a-kind experience designed for the night owls and hospitality pros. Indulge in $12 handshake cocktails, expertly crafted liquid chef concoctions, delicious late-night hot bites, and chef's choice dozen oysters. More than just a place to unwind, The Lonely Oyster warmly welcomes industry professionals, providing a space where like-minded individuals can connect, relax, and enjoy the camaraderie that comes with the late-night scene. Whether you're looking to kick back after a long shift or simply enjoy the vibrant atmosphere, late night at The Lonely Oyster is the perfect rendezvous for those who appreciate good company and great food and drinks. Don't miss this nightly affair and let the good times roll at The Lonely Oyster. Welcoming back to the LA Food Podcast, a man who co-hosts what is now a top 100 food podcast in the United States.
Hey!
It's Father Saul. Father Saul, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing great hearing that news. Congrats, buddy. That's pretty good.
Congrats to you, my dude. And you know what's funny? We're a podcast where 90% of our audience is in one county. How crazy is that?
It's pretty good. I'm proud of that. Yeah. Top 100 on Apple iTunes, or what's it called again? Apple Podcasts?
Apple Podcasts, that's right. Yeah. I mean,
right.
you know, who knows if this data is to be believed, but we are not in the business of
believing data
or facts. Yeah. We're very much anti-fact on this podcast. Wouldn't you say?
I would say so. Yeah. We choose feelings over facts over here.
We do, and you can trust neither your feelings nor your facts on this podcast. But I gotta say thank you to everybody who's left us reviews and ratings, because I think that really helps boost us in the rankings. So just thank you. Have you left us a rating, Saul?
I think I have, if I'm not mistaken. I have. Emily has. I think Emily's left us a rating from her dad's Apple account as well. So we're doing work. We're doing work here.
That's
we're astroturfing our way right to the top.
Just like Victor Villa and the LA Taco Madness.
You said that, not me.
Actually, I've
said that quite a lot, actually.
All right, enough of that. Let's get straight down to business, because we've got a reservation to make in 90 minutes here at Cato for the first time. But instead of looking forward, let's look back. Have you had any good recent eats?
Dude, a lot of good ones. So first of all, me and your wife went to Amiga Amore. Very delightful dinner. Great time. I had hot tongue pizza on the night I got engaged. That was really good. Yeah.
Wow.
Hot tongue fucking hit, man. It was really good. I was very happy with that.
And you didn't even go on bar pie night.
No, I didn't, which I really want to do. I remember your Instagram post still from back in the day.
Yeah.
No, we ordered in to Silver Lake, but it was really, really good.
New York style, you're like,
yes.
It's a little like chefier than New York, like the dough, in my opinion, right?
A little bit, yeah, but just high quality. It's making me go on a little New York slice kick. I want to go back to Apollonia's. I hit Prime Pizza recently. I'm a little bit of a New York slice zone.
Yeah. One pizzeria that always used to hit me up when I was doing my pizza countdown that was like, you gotta come visit us, we're the best New York style, in the world. It's actually Village Pizzeria in Larchmont.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I've been eyeing them, but I don't know, for some reason I wasn't convinced.
I remember being rather unconvinced while
Okay.
eating it, but I'd be curious to know as a local what you think.
Yeah, I'll walk down and get some.
Yeah. So what
not?
do you think about Amiga Amore?
Really liked Amigo.
Really?
Yeah, I
Nice.
did. We had the corn agnolotti, they had an enchilada tortellini, and a carne asada, as well as like a ceviche for an appetizer. I think everything was really delicious, and also like, kind of like a delightful way to do like a fusion dish, right?
Yeah.
Where it was like just the kiss of both. It wasn't like trying too hard. It was like, oh, if you take like a green enchilada sauce, put it over tortellini, it's quite good actually.
Yeah.
It just tastes good.
Yeah, what I like about it is like they're dishes that feel like that they have always existed.
Yeah, exactly.
know?
That's a
Yeah.
good way of putting it. Yeah.
It's kind of like how I would describe some of the dishes that Diego Argotti used to make at Poltergeist.
Similar. Yeah, it did kind of harken back to that experience. Also, it felt like a very uniquely LA restaurant.
Yeah.
As a whole, and I enjoyed it a lot.
So lived up to the hype.
I'd say so. Does it have a lot of hype?
I think it's had a good amount of hype.
Yeah,
over
yeah.
the
It
last
seems
couple
it's a
years.
little bit post-hype maybe at this point, but
Yeah.
I'm glad I finally got around to it.
How was my wife as a date?
Always a good time. I feel like me and your wife should have like a meta podcast talking about you on this podcast. I think that's our destiny.
Hey, she was a big hit when she came on this podcast.
She was good, man.
She's gonna be back next week because we're recapping a trip to
nice.
Vegas.
Oh, dude, she's coming for a co-host slot, I think.
Hey,
Third chair.
I was
Third
gonna
chair.
say we have already you. We've got Karen who's doing a shift a month, and we might have my wife now doing a regular shift.
Why don't we do a three-way like a podcast? I was literally listening to the Ringer Fantasy Football podcast recently because I'm prepping for an upcoming draft.
Yeah.
And it made me realize 3 is like a good number.
It's
for
a good number,
podcast. Dude,
yeah.
It's nice to have like a third voice to bounce off of.
Yeah, we've
And,
done 4.
We've done 4. 4 gets tricky, especially when you're virtual,
Yeah.
right? But we've done obviously with compliments. It's like as good of a time as you can have.
Yeah.
But three people in person. I'd be curious how that goes. I think it
Okay,
could work.
we'll try it.
We should do it for like a draft or something. We
Yeah.
should come up with a gimmick.
It's a good
sometime.
idea. Maybe for Next Gen Chef, which we'll get to.
Ooh, yeah.
Which we'll get to. All right, my recent eats. I've actually been pretty like low key. I haven't done that much in the last week, but we did go to the Atwater Village Farmers Market, which, by the way, was like a culinary who's who. Checker Hall chef Gabe Kennedy was there.
Sure.
Courtney Storer was there.
Oh, hey.
I said hi to neither. I just let them do their thing. I feel like you can't interrupt a chef at the farmers market. You know,
No,
that's
yeah.
business for them.
Yeah,
you know?
that's work time. That's work
So I just watched them like a freak and went around the booth selecting
Also,
my
what a
produce.
farmer's market is for, though. See,
Yes.
like people watching.
Yeah.
People watching. That's okay.
Right. Yeah, and I did that to great effect. But we got tomatoes. And it seems like a simple thing, buy tomatoes at your farmer's market as opposed to Whole Foods or Trader Joe's, God forbid. But when I tell you, these are the best tomatoes
Oh,
I've
sure.
ever had. Like, and I once had tomatoes at a tomato farm in southern Italy, and I remember them being like steaks that you just,
Yeah.
that's all you needed. You didn't need any condiment, right? This was better than that experience.
Wow.
They were heirloom tomatoes. We just made a simple tomato salad with them. Literally just a little bit of Maldon salt and olive oil, and that's all.
Yeah. That's all you need.
All you need. And then the next night we made pan con tomate with the leftover tomato.
Nice.
And
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
my god, dude, it's the best thing I've eaten all year, maybe. Just those
Wow.
tomatoes.
Who was the purveyor of these tomatoes?
I want to say it was like Galvan Farm or something like that,
Okay.
up in like the Central Valley type area. But I gotta double check that. We'll be back with that information, dear listener, after my next visit to the farmers market. But the other thing I wanted to point out is just on the way home now. I hadn't eaten all day. I was starving. I had one of the best burgers I've had this entire time.
Really?
Yes.
Where at?
It is on the corner of Vernon and 8th in South Los Angeles. It's a spot called A1 Burgers
Okay.
that people have been telling me to go to anytime I post a list. They're like, you got to go to A1. Usually it's the people who are like, oh, this guy does not go to the hood.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're like, you got to go to A1. And dude, first of all, the A1 combo, which was the A1 burger, it's a single burger with French fries and a soda, was $8.
Nice.
That's a great deal.
That's crazy.
That's a
Yeah.
great deal. That's like
Yeah,
in
yeah.
and out numbers, basically. The burger was so good, dude. So simple. It was like, you know, In and Out though, you get the thin ass patty.
Yeah.
Here it was like a thick, loosely packed, and that's the key, loosely packed, like quarter pounder, which wasn't pink in the middle, but because it was loosely packed, it was still super juicy. It had a crust on the exterior that was to die for, and then the bun was just like really compact, a little bit chewy because it got toasted, and just simple, tomato, lettuce, pickle, just a little bit of mayo, a little bit of mustard, but in the perfect ratios. It hit so hard. I think it could be top 3, dude.
Top 3.
Yeah.
That's Benjamin LeBerg numbers.
Benjamin LeBerg territory,
Wow.
because especially when you consider, is it meeting its assignment? Because I've had other burgers that people call quote unquote hood burgers on this journey.
Is it a hood burger or just a burger in the quote unquote?
So it's an entire genre of burgers. Like
did not know
LA
this.
Taco has lists of the best hood burgers in Los Angeles. And I've had them in Boyle Heights. I've had them in East Los Angeles. I've had them a number of different places now. But they're all kind of the same, like the similar genre of burger. They're usually on the larger side, like kind of heftier boys, if you will, not unlike us. But this one was on the smaller side, but not just good for a hood burger, good for any burger. Like to me, and meeting that assignment, this exceeded, like it flying colors, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm gonna post a killer review of this. I'm so excited to see how it lands.
I need you to, because you did this with sandwiches on the website where you have like essentially a searchable list. I need this for burgers, tacos, and pizza.
Yeah,
I need it.
I have it for burgers. I just haven't published it yet.
Okay, cool.
I should publish it as I go along, I guess.
Yes.
So
Yes, you should.
I waited until the end last time.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Do it again.
All right. Well, hey, I alluded to the big deal of the day a couple episodes ago. I sent out sort of like, my thoughts and prayers or condolences, whatever you want to call them, to the folks at Eater that we consider our friends, especially like Mona Holmes and folks, after the latest round of layoffs was announced. But I hadn't really had a chance to dive deep into this because I was waiting for our media correspondent to be back on the podcast. You are our media correspondent, aren't you, Saul?
I like to think so. Yeah.
No, you are. I've dubbed you with that, and that you are. So just as a reminder for folks that haven't been following this as closely, this is the second round of layoffs in less than a year at Eater after December round of redundancies was made. This time around, 15 journalists were let go, mere days actually after Vox Media CEO, which is the parent company of Eater, Jim Bankoff, told Puck that no other layoffs were planned. Casualties of the layoffs include great reporters who you and I have spent many hours talking about on this podcast, including Jaya Saxena and Amy McCarthy.
Yep.
As far as LA goes, there didn't seem to be any layoffs, but rather a restructuring. It would appear that Matt Kang's responsibility have changed. From what I could tell from his understandably cryptic Instagram post, it sounds like his job is going to be covering the entire West Coast and moving more to digital. I believe the LA newsroom is now consisting of literally just Mona Holmes and Rebecca Rowland. Great reporters, but numbers-wise, a big reduction in force from what we had in LA a few years ago. So, when you first heard this news, what was your reaction?
Just bummed out. It's also, sadly, it's like not surprising. We've gone through this so many rounds with media generally, but also specifically Vox of these layoffs at Eater and beyond at other properties. We'd heard about Eater's plans to kind of reframe how they were doing their work to be more regionally focused and city focused. And ever since that announcement, I think we've been kind of waiting to see what that exactly means and what it looks like. And I'm not shocked that apparently that comes with additional layoffs. What I'll say is the quality, like losing any reporter sucks. The jobs they've been cutting, from Robert Sietsema in New York to some of the folks that were let go this round and others just throughout this whole process, it's not just that they're like cutting positions, they're cutting really good journalists. Like, 'cause I'm assuming they're maybe it's for cost reasons, right? That these are more senior editors and senior staff, but it's a real loss.
Yeah.
Like, it's a real loss. It really sucks.
It's like the Celtics giving up Porzingis because of the second apron, right? It's almost like they can't afford to keep the best reporters on almost.
I quibble with your framing of Kristaps Porzingis or your assessment of him, but sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? A big contract, basically.
Yeah.
That because of financial reasons, they're sometimes the first to go. You'd think it's the other way around, right?
Yeah.
That you're going to keep the big names, the ones that are literally getting you James Beard nominations year after year, but rather those are the first to go because they're the most expensive jobs.
Yep. And what it tells us too, I mean, I think this was clear from the time they announced the kind of restructuring, that they're basically racing to the bottom, quote unquote, I would say, of food content, which is, to be clear, there are still great journalists at Eater and people that we will read and who will do good stories, but it really seems like they're kind of focused more on the listicle aspect of their platform, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but one, I'm guessing / knowing that those senior reporters still contribute to those lists and inform those lists, and it's the difference between a review versus criticism.
Yeah.
Right. And what Ryan Sutton, I think, shared on This Is Taste a while ago, losing the criticism element that these like top reporters bring to the table, and of course the investigative journalism pieces as well, that just hollows out what the platform was and what it used to offer the landscape.
So you mentioned the changes, right? And I think that that's really interesting because we have seen some changes at Eater, like visually speaking, over the last few months.
Yep.
There was the website redesign, obviously.
Yeah.
We'll get there. I want to hear your opinion on that. But also, I believe that it was since the layoffs that they released their big app.
Right.
An app where basically it has all their maps and all their lists, and it's very easily searchable. It's very branded with like sponsored stuff as well, so it's clear that it's a money play, which I have no problem with, to be clear. But you know, you mentioned race to the bottom. It feels like they used to maybe be competing with the LA Times and other local like coverage, especially with their model of being like Eater LA, Eater Portland, Eater New York, and now it feels like they're trying to compete with the Infatuation.
Yes. Yeah. And we saw this with the LA Times too, with the LA Times, well, not the LA Times like picking up the Infatuation's like map platform a while back, which is fine, but we commented on it then. But yes, I do, that seems to be, I'm not surprised that maps drive the most clicks.
Right.
Lists and maps will drive the clicks. But what separates Eater in particular was the quality, that those like recommendations and essential lists, which again are not just simple lists, are like actually like well researched. These are the Bill Esparza lists,
yes,
and like the essential lists that may define like a city in a moment in time, paired with stories that tell the broader and more contextual and more nuanced, you know, picture of the food that's happening in said city. And I think to your point, filling in the gaps where I think a lot of like local news generally has lost a ton of jobs, like 10,000 journalist positions over the last 5 years have been lost, meaning often those local outlets can't afford a food critic. Eater, kind of like your Chalk Beats and the education space and other outlets, was filling in the void, right? To tell people the story of food and what it means, because food coverage is not just food, it's politics, it's economics, it's people's livelihoods, and they're kind of, it seems that they're kind of saying is, do away with it, all that matters is the clicks and these lists, which I will still go read and reference all the time, but it's a shame that we're it seems like we're going to be losing, like Jaya was like a cornerstone of like these like really well researched interesting angles on food storytelling.
Dude, we're literally going to talk about one of her pieces in that one of her last pieces today in Chef's Kiss Big Miss. Like we talk about her so much, not because we're just like fucking lame and lazy and we're just like looking at Eater, which is also true, by the way, but because literally out there, it's some of the best food reporting available. Like her, Bettina McElintall is another one that I think was not laid off, but is also writing for Eater. Like the quality of the journalism is huge. But, you know, you mentioned clicks, and one thing that stands out to me is, like, isn't it kind of our fault a little bit, too?
Oh, yeah.
You know? I mean, what I mean is, like, if it's not generating clicks, it means we're the ones who aren't clicking on them.
Yeah, yes. Also, yes, right? One of the reflections I had as I was reading through your agenda today is, like, and I was reading through Ryan Sutton's piece on the Low Times as well, which was, like, I think, a really well-done piece that we'll touch on, where part of the issue is that food influencers and social media, I think, and YouTube taking up so much space and attention and kind of drawing the eyeballs in food of the food media audience, so to speak, and away from maybe like what could be the vegetables of reading more like thoughtful long piece, right, long form criticism. And that is the audience's fault to an extent. Also, though, like, just from a fundamental, like, how you consume them aspect, you'll typically read an investigative, deeply researched story once. People will go back to lists over and over
That's true.
again.
Yeah.
Right? So just as a product Like,
So you're saying you need to do like 14 reasons why Joshua Weissman is a pervert, and you just got to keep going.
I don't
back
know.
to
I
it.
still don't know why someone would have to keep going back to that list, right? but yeah, and it's yes, it isn't to an extent a response to audience. I also though what I don't get, and Ryan makes this point as well, like how can we not figure out a way to monetize really good journalism? Like,
yeah,
there's models out there that happen in like sports media. I don't know if you've heard of Defector. So Defector is a subscription-based digital media platform, like that was started by the reporters who used to work at Deadpin, the journalists and bloggers who worked at Deadspin.
Deadspin,
Not
Deadpin is
Deadspin.
A different, very different website.
Is it an actual website?
I just assume it's something dirty.
At Deadspin, who after they were purchased by I think like some private equity bullshit and like hollowed out, they started a thing, and I think Defector has been sustainable and does really good Deadspin style sports blogging, reporting, general like commentary.
Is it like Substack?
No, it's its own website.
Okay.
But a similar model, right? But it's like, but instead of it being a Substack, it's all these really great sports writers coming who have their own audiences that they built on the blog.
Yeah.
Deadspin, coming together and like building out, and like you subscribe. It's like you have to pay like just I think $20 a month. I can't remember off the top of my head now. Where it's like a legitimate subscription. You have to want it, but it has like it's like really fun and like good sports media.
Yeah.
That you have to go get. I wonder, or I really hope there's something folks figure out, like as we're losing the eater, like Jaya Saxena's and others, that like the folks who have gone to Substack, like Robert Sietsema, like Ryan Sutton, I wonder if there's like one home where they can kind of consolidate, like and draw an audience together. I don't know if it's the same, but Best Food Blog is out there.
Yeah,
that's a subscriber model. I do wonder if there's some replacement that can kind of collate all the lost talent into one place.
Well, it's interesting you were saying that, because as I was driving around today, I was thinking like, I was trying to come up with like a killer analogy for this, right? Like, I feel like my starting point for this was, let's look at what happened with movies and movie theaters, how like people stopped going to movies as much. Hollywood obviously started struggling, and Netflix emerged as like basically taking its place and then contributing further to people not going to the movies, right? And the model for that is what you're saying. It's a subscription model.
Yep.
But key to that too is their algorithm and the fact that they're able to keep giving the people what they want based on the fact that they have these secret numbers in-house that are telling them this is what people are gravitating towards, and therefore that's informing their content. And it's sort of this like beautiful / super evil feedback loop where we're just being served Love is Blind 18 seasons a year, but it's working for them in terms of subscribers. As I was playing that out in my head, I was like, okay, yeah, that could work for news too. Why couldn't it, right? If it was like more subscription based and really trying to use the algorithm to tell you what to do in order to publish content. And then I ended up in the place of, wait, isn't that what Eater's probably doing now?
That's the list.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's literally what it is. Yeah.
So it's like, it actually doesn't, that is not a good way to think about journalism, it seems. It seems like it needs to be thought about almost as more of a public utility in some ways.
Yeah. We've like almost, like, because journalism isn't necessarily entertainment. It can be, I think. But
like sports, it makes sense that it works for Defector, right?
Yes, exactly, right. Because it is, yes, you're right. I think because that's like, hey, that's like, you're eating candy, right, so to speak, right? You're reading someone like write in a funny or interesting way about a sport that you go to blow steam. It's not like your vegetables, which is your investigative reporting about the like sexual abuses in the restaurant industry, or the crushing economic weights and costs that restaurants are facing, which are like tough stories, but stories that are really important, like because they shed light on issues that matter a lot. They can bring attention from policymakers and decision makers to those issues. They can inform people more, right, just so they can make better decisions in their day-to-day lives. But it is not stuff that people seem to go looking for, so to speak.
Yeah.
I still like I don't know the back end of Eater or whatever or Vox Media. I just can't imagine there wasn't a way to do both.
Yeah.
Continue doing both here.
That's what I think, right? I think that, so a lot of people shit on the Infatuations model, right? That they're just, I think even in, well, you referenced the piece by Ryan Sutton in the Low Times, which by the way, we're gonna try to end this on a note of hope as opposed to a note of doom and gloom like we usually do, by talking about the food reporters we really love that are still doing their thing, and Ryan Sutton is definitely gonna be on that list. But, you know, in his piece, I think he even takes a shot at the Infatuation, calling it like listicle machine owned by a big bank or something like that, right? Which on paper it is. But if you look at the Infatuation, like one thing I really admire about their model is they use other stuff to fund the reporting.
Yeah.
So, and you can quibble with whether it's reporting, whether it's just listicle clickbait, whatever. I will say there's some fun writing happening at the Infatuation. If you actually read Brant Cox's pieces, if you actually read Silvio Martin's pieces, and you go deeper than just the number rating, they are fun, compelling, well-written article, like reviews.
Well, reviews.
Reviews,
Yeah.
exactly. But that's the kind of thing that's getting eliminated in other places. Now, I think that what the Infatuation does well is they use Eats Cons around the country as huge moneymakers to fund journalism, in addition to a lot of like branded stuff that they do throughout the year with partners and whatnot. I mean, I've been invited to like 12 Infatuation dinners in Los Angeles alone, and I know those are money-making exercises. They're not just marketing. They do that, yes, to make money and to make the company money, but that's also helping to fund the writing that happens, right? Yeah. And I feel like that marriage is so missed. Like, I actually think the New York Times is getting smart to it, or has gotten smart to it in the last 5 years. They've realized what sells. Okay, people are always going to want cooking subscriptions for recipes. People are going to want the games, so we charge for games, right? People are going to easily pay $1 a month for The Athletic or something like that. They've gotten really smart in like segmenting how they do stuff. I feel like that has been missing from food media. It's this idea of let's use other stuff to fund this public utility, which is the food media.
Yeah, I think you might be right. And the Infatuation is interesting though, because the Infatuation now is a credit card marketing tool, right? I think the Infatuation's success, because they're underwritten now by a big bank, and their success of the Infatuation, I'm guessing for Chase, is how many people sign up for our card.
Yeah, Sapphire Reserve. Exactly. If you go to Eats Con, it's Sapphire Reserve everywhere.
Right. So so it's no longer a they do use the events and stuff, and I'm sure that brings in revenue for the actual writing. But I think what's actually keeping the Infatuation alive is whether or not people are willing to sign up for the bank's products as a result of that brand partnership.
Right. And people are signing up for the card because the promise is we're going to give you access to restaurants if you have this. But that's okay. We call that synergy, right? Like that is like...
It's okay, but it's also, what I'm wondering is, where does criticism fit into a model like that? Where I guess it would be just like... it'd have to literally be, like you say, JP Morgan Chase isn't going to just do a public utility, right? No. Necessarily. It'd have to be like, is there an audience out there for the criticism and the investigative reporting that matters? Like, we can say it really matters. What a JP Morgan or whatever big corporate sponsor would say if they like bought Eater would be like, what is that reporting bringing to our product, whatever that product may be?
I mean, I'm not saying that JP Morgan at Chase is a benevolent capitalist, right? I don't believe that, but I do think that is one potential solution here. Is a benevolent capitalist who's like, we're going to make fucking money, but I've got a heart for journalism. Say what you want about Jeff Bezos. I think he tried this with the Washington Post.
I think there's like a whole other thing you could say about that. I don't know if benevolence was necessarily the main thing he was going for there.
Yeah, look, maybe just like his brightest timeline, if you're to extrapolate.
Look, Laurene Powell Jobs has done Steve Jobs' widow. And a philanthropist in her own, like very major philanthropist in her own right, has done a lot of media investing because of like. I think there's like some belief in like the power, like the importance of storytelling and narrative, and owns The Atlantic, for example. There'd have to be like some. JB Pritzker looks like he eats. Maybe he's down. I don't know.
Are you just saying find a fat billionaire and get them to fund food journalism?
I did not say those words. I don't know, man. Look, this is just a bummer. What I think actually is much more like. Yeah, what I think is more likely in terms of getting this back is either those journalists individually going and starting like putting up their own shingle on a Substack, or like there's this new like fucking weird liberal like Substack-y like thing with Matt Iglesias and a bunch of other folks.
Oh yeah,
The Argument or whatever, which is basically the same idea, right?
With
where, like,
is that Mehdi Hasan where he argues against Nazis?
No. This is a different thing. It's like I know Matt Iglesias in it and a couple other like liberal, maybe Derek Thompson also.
Oh yeah.
They came together and they're like doing like a project called The Argument or something, right? And it's like I actually don't even know what the model is in terms of payment, but they're doing a thing there, right? I think it would be a similar thing where a couple food critics, right, and people who can do this journalism come together. But even still, I think having the resources of an outlet that has editors and fact checkers and all that shit is really important to get these stories done.
So what you're describing, though, it's almost like what we're seeing with cable, then going to streaming services, and people are finding that in order to be on top of every single show in every single sports league, they need like 40 subscriptions. And you could see a world all these journalists go their own way. You got to get 40 different Substack subscriptions just to get like support all your people. And at that point, it's like, well, why don't they just all come together under one banner? And that is once again a publication. And we're like back at square one, right?
I guess so. Yeah. I listen to so much entertainment industry like news stuff that I want to keep correcting you on this analogy, but I won't. And say essentially yes. I think it's either like a defector style thing for food media, but I don't like. I think it'll be tough, but hope maybe there's an audience for that. I don't know if there is. I'll be honest. Like or they get or like there's I don't know. I don't even know what else there is. It's fucking dark out there, man. Like
it's dark. I think the thing is it's not. I don't think it's dark for food content. Like the candy of food content, people are gonna want. People are gonna want to go to the lists. Like for example, a defector style thing. If I'm understanding what defector is, you make food more like entertainment. And like you cover it more like a sport with the ratings and stuff like that, and that's why the infatuation gets clicks. That's why Eater's moving in this model. That will always be there, right? But what we're losing is the vegetables, to your point.
Yeah.
And that I just don't know how you create an audience for.
I don't know either. I think you're probably right that like it has to in some ways be like a multi-platform / multi-channel thing, right? Somewhere where there's probably like a YouTube element and monetization element there, which helps fund and partners with like a journalistic element, which partners with an events element and a brand part. Like I don't know, there has to be some way to do this though in a way that's compelling and ties these things together. But the thing is the lower hanging fruit is to just make lists, and make money on the lists and fire everyone who you don't need to make a list.
Which, by the way, like with AI, like
exactly right. I do think we're going to go in that direction where it's like not, it's just like becomes like slop or like an intern pulls it together, right? Like Deadspin still exists and they have like a bunch of like weird randos writing for Deadspin and it's still technically sports articles, but they're like nowhere near as like compelling or interesting. And like half the time I think like Sports Illustrated has like AI written articles now. And just like fire the people, save all the costs and just put out slop. And hope that they can stick some advertising on it and get enough clicks for it.
I hope that what we're living through is almost like maybe there will be a change in medium. You know, like we'll still want the deeper storytelling. Maybe it just won't be in writing anymore. I don't know. Maybe maybe the people who would have gone on and become food writers, they become documentarians or something. Like I don't know, but like I just think that those people who will want to tell those stories will always exist. It's on the people who give a shit about this and are business minded to figure out how do we create a path for those people to tell those stories. And so the other piece of that is too, like the other effect of this is there are a lot of food writers out there. There are a lot of people who care about food, and because there are not so many opportunities, we're only hearing from the same people over and over again.
Right.
You know what I mean? So even when I'm compiling the agenda for our podcast, I do go back to a lot of the same reporters because that's who has jobs right now. You know what I mean? There are a lot of negative effects. There does not appear to be an instant solution, and I'm not sure I have anything positive to wrap this conversation with.
No. Go subscribe to the Low Times. We've said that before. I think Ryan wrote really, really well on this.
I actually do have a positive note because even though there are fewer and fewer jobs out there, there are still a lot of writers doing their thing at those publications and elsewhere. So I would like to leave this conversation with my list of food writers we should all follow right now.
Cool.
And I've done it in a way. I've created a basketball roster.
Okay.
Basketball starting 5 plus a few bench players. out of food writers. Are you
Do
ready?
they each have specific roles then also?
100%.
All right,
Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay. Coach Luca. So the highest paid player we're building the team around,
Okay.
the star asset, right? It's got to be right now New York Times Tejal Rao.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
probably the most exciting food writer, I think, in terms of pros, in terms of remit that she's got to cover like restaurants all over the world. I think she's probably more of a Steph than like a LeBron or a Luca.
Interesting. Why do you say that?
I wouldn't say like there's an element of like raw magnetic energy there, like with food writers in the past, like that we've had, like the Bourdains, even the Ruth Reichel. There was something raw and like iconoclastic about them.
There were. I think the point, like Tejal speaks to you as like almost like like your smartest friend.
Yes.
Right. Whereas like the folks even like a Pete Wells, to me at least, was like authoritative. It's like coming down from on high.
Yeah.
Like the old head legend.
Right. And that's like how LeBron would run a team, right?
Exactly.
Authoritative.
Yeah.
Whereas Steph, a lot more collaborative.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
Also,
she can share the spotlight.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
likes to have teammates that sometimes do better than them, you know?
Yeah.
That's who we're building the team around, okay? Then you got to have a couple good 3-and-D wings, all-purpose players, right? Who can do like basically multiple things at once, whether it's writing exciting articles or like in-depth pieces, or just doing like your run-of-the-mill like quick reviews, right?
Yeah.
And to me, those are the LA Times Stephanie Braziel, who I think does both really well, and to give another shout to Eater, Mona Holmes. Like, Mona Holmes carries that website on her back, dude. She does so many different things that she's got to be one of the 3-and-D wings. Now you're going to want a specialist, okay? A rim protector, someone you can count on.
This is a very mid-2010s NBA roster, I gotta say. I don't know if it would survive against the OKC Thunder, for example.
Yeah, well, hey, maybe that's apropos for the state of food media.
Sure.
The specialist I want as my rim protector, that's the Low Times Ryan Sutton. Because, yes, he is specialized in New York, but he's a guy you can count on for excellent coverage, and you can read it whether you're in New York or not.
I totally agree. And also, I love that Ryan's like meta commentary.
Yes.
On food. Like Matt Rodbard is also in that space where he like comments on food media more broadly as well. But he has a Substack, but I think Ryan is maybe a bit more prolific on the Substack, if I'm not mistaken.
I also think maybe Ryan has a little bit more license to say whatever he wants because Matt does have a boss.
Yeah, sure.
So, and Ryan is his own boss.
Right.
Yeah. Finally, I think every team needs a Maverick, a wild card, a Draymond, so to speak.
Sure.
I'm
someone to kick the opponents in the balls.
Someone to kick the opponents in the balls.
I think I know what you're gonna say for this one. Go ahead.
Bill.
Yeah.
Bill Esparza, bro. You have to. He's gonna give you the crazy takes. He's gonna look.
Well, not even does he give crazy takes where he just like says he's willing to start the fight.
He's willing to start the fight. Yeah. But he's willing to carry it out too.
Yeah.
And it's not from a place of malice. It's from a place of getting shit done.
Yeah.
And
standing on it.
Standing on business. Yeah. And so that's Bill. Finally, my bench. I'd like to give a special shout out to other 3-and-D replacements, Rebecca Rowland and Brant Cox. I said this already. I don't think the infatuation gets enough love.
Yeah.
I think it gets a lot of hate.
Yeah.
And I don't think all of it. Some of it, sure. But I don't think all of it is warranted.
Is infatuation journalism, dude?
Yeah, I think it's
Is
journalism.
journalism or content?
It's journalism.
Okay.
They don't get paid to do their reviews. They go in.
Sure.
They're not accepting freebies. Content is if you're like, hey restaurant, I'm coming in. Can you spot me a meal so I can like film your food and say nice things about it?
Sure.
They don't do that.
Yeah. That's true.
And then finally, 6th man of the year, it's going to Khushbu Shah from Tap is Fine.
Good one.
Great Substack.
Yeah.
It's kind of like covers a bunch of different topics. She does a great segment called The Good, the Bad, and the Mid, which is super fun to read. So those are some food writers who are still carrying the team on their back. Go give them a follow, everybody. And we'll continue discussing their articles, including in this next segment, which we like to call Chef's Kiss Big Miss. Are you down?
Let's do it.
All right. How Long Gone podcasters Chris Black and Jason Stewart discussed a restaurant quote-unquote dilemma on one of their episodes last week. While discussing hot, buzzy new restaurants where all the people are good-looking and cool, they argue that the coolness can only be sustained for so long before the ugly, non-cool people catch on and start to go to the restaurant. Though positing whether it would make sense for the restaurants to turn away ugly people in an effort to remain cool, Chris Black brought up the point that restaurant economics dictate that at a certain point, restaurants need to welcome the ugly and the uncool to remain in business. Saul, is the unearthing of this dilemma in which a restaurant can either stay cool and hot or stay in business a chef's kiss or a big miss?
What was the tone with which this conversation was made in?
Frighteningly serious.
Are you sure you just could? I've not listened to this. Were you just not reading like the irony?
It was
going over your head?
It was definitely ironic. Like they don't take anything seriously, right, on that podcast.
Okay.
But there was an element because they were asking each other like, are there restaurants that you would be embarrassed to be seen at because it's an ugly restaurant type thing?
Because ugly people restaurant.
Yes, and like
this is like the app the kid made in New York that was also like ironic or whatever.
Yeah. Well, that was satire, I think. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. But
Yeah.
I'll go with Big Miss only. I mean, funny conversation. I'll go with Big Miss only because I don't think it's. Well, actually, maybe I'm wrong. Even as I'm saying this, I was gonna say it's not the clientele that defines the coolness of the restaurant. It's the restaurant itself.
Yeah.
But that's wrong. I think, right? There's like when a restaurant's cool, and then kind of like with bands, like hipster bands, right? And then it goes mainstream. I don't know about like the physical attractiveness of the people, but I think more the vibe of like, oh, is this like an inside, like only a few people know versus I don't. This to me is not like a serious question. This is just like a funny conversation between two guys on a podcast. That's it. That's all I have to say about it.
Insightful. I don't know. I thought there was an interesting point. Let's leave aside the hot and the ugly and all that stuff. It's more so like, can you sustain that sort of like buzzy, too cool for school energy?
So the way we've seen restaurants, I think the main way restaurants have tried this is by not having socials, I think. Right? Like, to create an aura, right? That doesn't change their clientele necessarily.
Yeah.
But it's like that's what you do to keep the mystique a little bit, right? To like not be trying too hard, I guess, right? And like
that's one way for sure,
right? Then you're not like all out there on Instagram and you know, maybe not pursuing a ton of media coverage, maybe. I don't know. Like,
we've seen that fail though.
But
with Frog Club.
Yeah, I don't think this is like a no.
All right, we're gonna give this a big fat no, but also funny conversation. Next one. Eater's Rebecca Rowland reports that Florentine sandwich shop Pino's Sandwiches Salumeria Verdi opens its first U.S. location in Los Feliz this August. In the former home of Eastside Deli, actually, it's bringing a new destination to the city for crusty schiacciata sandwiches layered with meats and cheeses, kind of like All'Antico Vinaio. This is the first expansion for Pino's, which currently only operates the original Florence location. Saul, is the continued globalization of mom-and-pop Italian sandwich brands a chef's kiss or a big miss?
Did you say All'Antico Vinaio?
Yeah.
How do you actually say that?
All'Antico Vinaio.
Okay, this is not that different. It just sounded like really Americanized, or when you said it. These are the new smash burgers, dude.
Ooh, that's a good take.
Yeah.
That's a good take.
This is the thing that's spiking right now. We're not at peak Italian sandwich quite yet. Which
dude.
I'm bummed about. Like there's gonna be more of this. I think it's not gonna go as hard as Smash Burger.
Yeah.
But it's the fad right now that will peak, and then maybe I'm gonna say like 3 to 4 years from now begin to turn down.
Interesting. You think we still got 3 to 4 years of this?
I think so, because to me it's not like saturated, anywhere close to saturated yet, and maybe it won't have the legs to even keep peaking from there. That's the thing, right? I'm not sure if it'll really explode the way Smash Burgers did, but I do think it's certainly like it's a hook right now, kind of like it's birria, it's Smash Burger.
Yes.
I don't think it's gonna get that big, but it's on that path.
Bro, I'm so tired of this. Not even just the Italian sandwiches. That has been over for me for a while. Like, there's so many places that do focaccia sandwiches with mortadella and a little burrata and pistachio in the city. Like, we're done.
Yeah.
But it's this movement of places from other cities and countries opening locations in LA.
Well, that's always been the case.
But it's I feel like it's happening like at an increasingly frequent rate. Like, for example, Churreria El Moro taking over our beloved Patras.
Yeah.
We've got Mott 32, which is this awesome like Chinese spot in Vegas, which is opening a restaurant here. Zaytinya just did their thing. I just feel like I'm just over it. I feel like it's the Las Vegasification of Los Angeles.
I would actually call it more, ironically, the Hollywood sequelization of
That's
LA,
yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
to extend the entertainment industry metaphors you were making in the first part of the pod, where because of the I don't know, the difficult landscape, let's say, for the lease of restaurants, I'm guessing that bigger restaurant groups and investors are mainly backing proven concepts.
No,
into bigger markets is like the safest bet.
That's 100% it. But how many sequels do you know that are better than the original?
Oh, very, very few. It is kind of a bummer. Like, no, there's some. I think in some sometimes I'm more excited than others to see a place coming here, but certainly, and the Angel did kind of like in the Angel survey, it was talking about like the newest restaurants we're most excited about and what kind of openings we're most excited about. It does seem true that there just seems like there are less. We've talked about this a million times. Less really interesting, eye-catching new restaurant openings. Either that, or they're just being talked about less. Probably because fucking food media is being hollowed out to some extent.
Yeah.
But like, I just like the attention on and like the oxygen that like places from afar or from the U.S. being replicated here are taking up does seem super out of whack.
Yeah, it's weird, man. I'm over it. Okay, next one. That's a big miss, obviously. Next one. Jaya Saxena, who we've mentioned, formerly of Eater at this point, writes about the rise of table-side carts making a big comeback in restaurants. At Ada in New York, you've got an achar cart rolling by with jars of mango and pepper pickles. Achar, my bad. An achar cart rolling by with jars of mango and pepper pickles. A butter chicken cart. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Smoking your dinner with wood chips you pick yourself, and even chaat being served off a tray like cigarettes at the Playboy Club. And it's not just New York. San Francisco's had martini carts, Chicago's Anelia wheels out Ukrainian snacks, even Baltair in Los Angeles has become viral for piping icing onto cinnamon rolls right at the table. So, the return of tableside carts, chef's kiss or big miss?
I'm not mad at it. It's the reason. So I'll go chef's kiss or whatever, because this is the yet again I will draw the parallel. This is the making restaurants an experience thing. Right?
Yes.
As trying to get people out. These are Instagrammable moments, right? They are, and so that will draw people in. And it's kind of like that movie theater that's like the Alamo Drafthouse serving you dinner, right? With the movie, this is like the hey. Now I don't. For the most part, it doesn't sound like any of those things would like make the experience worse of the food. I don't know. Maybe not.
No, I don't think so. Based on those specific examples.
Yeah, exactly. So I have no issue with it, and it's just kind of like getting creative to drive the business.
I'm all for it. I also love the sort of like old school business mentality, because what it serves to do is it serves to like whet the appetite of the other tables.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
it's like if you see the dessert cart rolling around, you're not going to get served any of those desserts. It's so that the other tables see them and are like, huh, that carrot cake, don't look bad.
Or I can't wait for that cart to come our way.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm not mad at it. In fact, I love these little business hacks. So I'm all for it. Chef's kiss. This one's kind of fun, and I kind of made something out of nothing here, okay? The LA Times' Steph Brazier reports that Anajac Thai in Sherman Oaks has just come out of a nearly 2-month renovation and is getting ready to reopen. However, the article's headline was a little misleading. It reads, Anajac Thai's renovation uncovers relics as the restaurant readies to reopen this weekend. When I read this, I was expecting the piece to regale me with tales of a wide-eyed Justin unfurling a dusty American flag that had once belonged to Thomas Jefferson. Turns out, it was old relics from the restaurant's past, like menus, matchbooks, and a grease-covered cash register. But it got me thinking. Would an Anajac Thai-centered reboot of National Treasure make for a chef's kiss or a big miss?
Wait. An Anajac Thai with like Nicolas Cage, you mean? National Treasure?
Yes. He goes and eats at a Thai restaurant one night. And then
I would absolutely watch it. I think didn't they make like 3 of those movies? By the time they got, speaking of sequels that don't work, that really fell off. National Treasure 1 fucking rocked.
It was so good, dude.
It was so good.
That was like the reintroduction of Nicolas Cage to an entire generation.
I guess so. Like I guess my generation.
Yeah, our
like
generation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. He was like a he was like a punchline before that, and then he became just like a more recognizable punchline.
He was like he wasn't quite as mainstream. Maybe I don't know. He was Con Air.
He was mainstream. I just feel like his hits had been like from the 90s and the 80s and stuff.
Yeah.
So that was like his big hit for our generation.
Yeah.
And but anyways, all right. So we're giving that a chef's kiss.
I can't believe that's what you thought. I could immediately tell what the headline meant.
Really?
Yeah, of course.
I thought it was like.
Well, actually, no. Okay, for a second, I was like indigenous treasures.
That's what I thought. I thought this is an indigenous burial ground for sure, and they're gonna have to knock down Anajac.
No, that doesn't make any sense. It must be. Well, I've also been following the rebuild on Instagram, so I kind of actually knew he'd been finding stuff.
Yeah, I have not.
I'll still never forget the fact that I was in the valley like for the first time this whole fucking year, and I was like, "Yo, perfect day to go." Actually, I had a doctor's appointment, and I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna schedule it for Tuesday. Hit the appointment. Swing by Thai Taco Tuesday. I can't wait." I'm about to head over after the appointment, pull up my Instagram, and Justin's like, "Guess what? We're closed for renovations starting earlier today." And I was like, "God damn my timing, dude! Can't wait to get back out there."
Yeah, me too. I'm excited. It's opening up. I haven't been in a while, so I am excited. Okay, speaking of television and entertainment, which we've done a lot tonight, Deadline reports that friend of the pod, Olivia Culpo, is set to host Netflix's Next Gen Chef, which will see 21 of America's hottest young chefs under the age of 30 compete at prestigious culinary school, the Culinary Institute of America, coming to Netflix on September 17th. Carlton McCoy and Top Chef champ Kelsey Bernard Clark will serve as judges, and none other than LeBron James is one of the EPs. Saul, Next Gen Chef, Chef's Kiss, or Big Miss?
I mean, TBD, but as a concept, I'm excited. I can't wait to check it out. Yeah, I think this will be something. Netflix has had some hits in the competitive food television arena.
Well, you say that, but none of them have come back.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. So Final Table was I'll say okay, but it was fun. Tim Hollingsworth wins that.
R.I.P.
Yeah. And then 5-Star Chef
was awesome.
For some reason they haven't done that again. I really wish they would.
They had one called like Pressure Cooker or something.
I did not watch it. That seemed more reality TV.
Yeah.
But I would watch that. I would go, yeah, but I'm excited for this one. This seems to be a little bit more in the realm, or trying to be in the realm of a Top Chef.
Yes.
They obviously have Top Chef alumni, Kelsey Bernard Clark as a judge.
And the list of judges is a bunch of Top Chef people.
The guest judges, they're coming in. It looks like a really fun guest judge list. What it'll come down to, quality of the talent, which I think they're trying to go young, right?
Yeah.
Under 30.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see the pedigree they get, and of course the food that people make.
I have a good feeling about this one.
Kelsey as a judge, what's she gonna be like?
I mean,
is she gonna be the Tom of the show?
I think she's supposed to be. No, I don't know. Actually, the other guy's like from the Nomad. But I think he's bringing more like the business expertise.
Okay.
A little bit like the restaurateur expertise. He's like the Janet Zuccherini.
Right. 5-Star Chef had a guy who was business, or the woman was business.
There was a business person for sure. Yeah, but I don't know. Kelsey is super nice.
Yeah.
So I think I could have seen her be more like the Kristen, where you're kind of like the peer of the people.
Right.
I don't know that she has the gravitas.
I think she's a good. I mean, she obviously is like an excellent chef. That's more about how she delivers it. I think she'll be a sharp critic, actually.
Yeah.
If I had to guess.
Yeah, she'll be a sharp critic. I think she will.
But I mean like a critical critic.
Yeah. For sure. And I think she'll be good at it. Hey, look, I was a big fan of her on her season. I know there's some debates as to whether she should have won or not.
She was a fair winner, I think.
You think? I feel like everybody said that.
Her finale meal was a winning meal, and she really came on hot at the end. I'd say. She was a little bit like there's a bit of a mix. The Eric Ajapong, I know people don't know what the fuck I'm talking about now, but in the finale of Top Chef Kentucky, which Kelsey wins against Sarah Bradley and Eric Ajapong, Eric gets eliminated on like a sudden death one dish thing.
Right.
That wasn't right.
Yeah, that's wrong. Yeah. That's an injustice. Yeah. All right, fair enough. Kelsey Bernard Clark, I apologize. You deserved it. Last one for you here. Over Labor Day weekend, prestigious global gelato competition, Gelato Festival World Masters, is coming back to Ovation Hollywood. It's a 2-day event where 10 of North America's top gelato artisans compete to earn a spot in the 2026 World Finals. Visitors can actually taste the flavors, vote on their favorites, and there will be chef demos, cultural presentations, even a gelato eating competition. Basically, a full-on celebration of Italy's coldest exports. So, The event is obviously going to be a chef's kiss, but in general, where do you stand on gelato? Chef's kiss or big miss?
Oh, big chef's kiss. Dude, I was just in fucking Florence.
Yeah.
Me and Isa hit a couple, like, she was like the gelato expert.
Yeah.
And she took me to a couple spots. Like, look, ice cream can only be, whatever, gelato, ice cream can only be so good, but it's fucking good.
You think?
Yeah.
No. No.
It was. I'm a big fan. There was some. You can certainly tell the difference between
Yeah.
like high quality and lower quality, and we had some high quality shit. It made me very happy.
Dude, I honestly think gelato, when done right, there's no ceiling. There's no ceiling to it.
There's definitely a ceiling.
There's no ceiling.
Well, of course, there's a ceiling.
No. Go to best gelato in Los Angeles, hands down, Bulgarini Gelato, which
yeah.
unfortunately is no longer up and running because of the Altadena fire, of course, the Eden fire. I think Leo was looking at starting somewhere else, but I'm not sure what happened to that. But when you had Leo's Gelato, you're like, anything's possible. Like, literally, the dude made his own sugar. Like,
Ooh, okay.
like it was that level of artisanship. And when you tasted his pistachio, when you tasted his chocolate, you didn't know chocolate could taste like that. Like he reimagined, or he re-engineered these familiar flavors to just hit totally different notes in your mouth. And I'm so sad it's gone. But I've had that experience in Italy too at certain places. But I'm so excited for this event because they're supposed to be the best in the world, dude.
I would definitely check this out.
We're going.
Let's go.
We're going.
Wait, when is it?
It's Labor Day weekend. You around?
I will be back on that Sunday.
Well, it's Saturday and Sunday at Ovation Hollywood.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So straight for the airport.
Epic. Shitty Yelp review is that we're going to be late to our Cato reservation.
Yeah. We gotta get
So
going.
we got to go. But dear listener, we love you. We'll be back next week. Father Saul, thank you for joining.
Good to see you.
Good job by you.
Ooh.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the LA Food Podcast. Thanks as always to Father Saul for making the time for us. And thank you to you, dear listener. If you liked what you heard today, please go to wherever you listen to podcasts. Leave us a rating, review, subscribe. Seriously, all that stuff really helps us make our way up the charts. As you heard earlier in this episode, top 100 food podcast in the U.S. We did it. Thanks to you. We'll be back next week with another epic episode. But if you're looking for me in the meantime, you can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Threads, YouTube, and even our website at the LA Countdown. You can also find us on Instagram at It's Acquired Taste or at acquiredtastemedia.com.